It's 11 trivia questions on Disney animated classics written by Mckay. This is Trivia with Buds. What it be, and welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Buds. Thank you so much for checking out my show. Guys, I have a crazy announcement, and I've talked about it for a while on the show and the program we were going through and stuff, but I just wanted to let all the listeners know that my family and I are finally debt-free. That's right. We hit the big debt-free button this past weekend on Friday, made our last student loan payment, so we have no debt in the world. And people always go, what about your house? And I go, we don't have a house. And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, oh, all right. Well, the other stuff is pretty big too, but we don't have a house yet, but now we can properly save for a down payment and start stockpiling a ton of money. And I'm very grateful for the ability to just say that. So if you are looking for tips on how to do that and you want to pick my brain on how we did it, I'm happy to help anybody, anytime. Just shoot me an email, ryanbuds@gmail.com. The easiest thing I can tell you is just listen to this podcast called The Dave Ramsey Show. I really enjoy it. I like listening to Dave just about every day. And even though we're debt-free now, I think I'm going to continue to listen to the show just because it's good content. And it just kind of keeps you motivated to not spend money on ridiculous stuff and to focus on, getting rid of those debts so you can just start piling up money for stuff that you actually want to do. But I did want to share this quick little writing that I found from September 16, 2016. And I know this is a trivia show and you want to hear trivia questions, but it's also a show about my life to some degree and the life of my family. And I wanted to share that with people who might get something out of it before we jump into the trivia. And the trivia, by the way, is going to be great. It's written by Mckay, and it's all about Disney animated classics from IMDB. So get ready for that. But I did want to share this to hopefully motivate somebody. So this was from a thing I was doing a couple years back. I don't do it so often anymore, although I should. So this is from September 16th, 2016, and this was just a free writing exercise where you sit down and you just type until you feel like you're good, and then you stop. So here's what I wrote. I work all day because at the end of a busy day, it feels like you did something. Making money never seems to be enough, so you have to do it because you really want that feeling of having done something with 18 hours instead of just hanging out. It's a bit crushing to know you have debt, in our case, $50,000 plus in student loans and another $9,000 just sitting on credit cards, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like that much. Listening to a motivational podcast for 2 hours while driving really gets me to think about the long term and not just the now. Sure, debt sucks, but eventually I'm going to build something that's higher than any amount of debt. When I'm in the green, I'll really be in the green. That's so stupid. I need to find a focus though. Right now, be successful is just stamped in my head, but I don't think I know exactly what to be successful in. I feel like I should have that figured out by the age I am now. I'm going to be 31. That feels old. Am I a comedian? Am I an actor? Hardly ever. Am I a host? I love hosting, and I think it's my biggest strength, but when you break it down, it feels like it's not much. Host events at bars for dozens of people. Is that success? Am I thinking it's not success because I'm surrounded by peers who get to go on things like Saturday Night Live or different late night spots? Do those things even matter except for some bloggers writing about them? It's frustrating because I change my mind every day on what to do, and I feel like I'm just floating in the same spot. A good host, a decent comic, a standard amount of money for living and working in California. But at the same time, I have a lot of stuff most people don't have. I have a really great family and a house that we rent and live in, and I love it. And I have healthy pets and a pool in my own backyard and a neighborhood I can hold my daughter's hand in and walk around. We saw 2 lizards today. I feel like this entry would have been much different if I wrote it at about 7:30 p.m. and not 1:30 a.m. Earlier, I felt the hustle. Now I just want to feel the pillow. But it's important that I stayed up to do this so I can check it off my list of stuff to do today. I've done just about everything on a hefty list, and that feels good. So that's it. That's what I wrote in 2016. Just a little free writing thing where I was talking about like, what am I going to do? How are we going to get rid of this stuff? What is the next step? who am I as a person? And I feel like I figured out quite a few of these things in the last 3 years. So if you are trying to figure out stuff like that, or if you're older than me and you're like, oh, geez, I don't have this stuff figured out, or you're way younger than me and you don't have this stuff figured out, I hope that me reading this and sharing it with you, if you listen to my show, pushes you in some direction or makes you think that maybe you can get something done, because I got something done and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I'm really grateful for being able to do that. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. And we're going to jump into today's episode right now after this long, lengthy intro. But I'm feeling good and I'm feeling debt-free. And I hope you are ready to have an awesome day. We're going to jump into 11 questions, and 11 questions are on Walt Disney Animated Classics from IMDB Trivia, written by Mckay. Here we go. All right, I'm going to give you a piece of trivia, and you tell me what movie we're talking about. They're all Walt Disney Animated Classics. Question number 1, Figaro was Walt Disney's favorite character. Question number 1, Figaro was Walt Disney's favorite character. Number 1. Question number 2, Walt Disney Animation Studios' 50th feature film. Number 2, Walt Disney Animation Studios' 50th feature film. Question number 3, the clock tower scene is the first major use of computer animation, the clock's gears, in a feature-length animated film. The same scene was also the first time traditionally animated characters were put inside a computer-generated background. Number 3. Question number 4, although it's based on a Marvel comic of the same name, there are lots of changes to the names, the setting, the ethnicities of the characters, the backstories, and several plot points. Number 4. Question number 5. In the German version, Tuk and Rut are called Benny and Bjorn after the two male members of the Swedish pop group ABBA. In the weeks before the theatrical release in Germany, they appeared in short, funny clips telling the audience to switch off cell phones during the movie. Number 5. Question number 6. This movie has more songs and characters than any other Disney animated film. That's interesting. Number 6. Question number 7. To see how Blank's body would move while sliding down a log, the animators based his movement on that of pro skateboarder Tony Hawk while on his skateboard. Number 7. What movie was that? Question number 8. Duke Weaselton is voiced by Alan Tudyk, who also voiced the Duke of Weaselton, often mispronounced Weaseltown, in Frozen in 2013. Question number 9. Title character, so Blank, is the first Disney princess to have biological siblings. Number 9. First princess to have biological siblings. Question number 10, the only Walt Disney animated feature film that reaches the 2-hour mark. Which one is that? Number 10. And the bonus question for 2 points. This was the first VHS in the Walt Disney Classics line. Number 11, the first VHS in the Walt Disney Classics line. Which movie was that? All your answers to these will be Walt Disney Animated Classics. And these are all facts from IMDB. And my friend Mckay will be right back with the answers in just a second. All right, Walt Disney fans everywhere, I hope you got all these right or you're about to learn something. Number 1, Figaro was Walt Disney's favorite character. That was, of course, from Pinocchio. Number 1 was Pinocchio. Number 2, Walt Disney Animation Studios' 50th feature film was Tangled. I remember when they advertised that. Tangled with the voice of Mandy Moore. Number 2, also shout out to Mandy Moore. The song Candy, her first big hit, came out 30 years ago yesterday. Not 30 years ago. Not 30. 20 years ago yesterday, if you want to feel old. Number 3, the clock tower scene is the first major use of computer animation. The clock's gears in a feature-length animated film. That was from The Great Mouse Detective. That's a movie that I've never actually sat down and watched all the way through. The Great Mouse Detective. Number 4, although it's based on a Marvel comic of the same name, a lot of stuff was changed. That was Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6. Number 5, in the German version, Tuk and Rut are called Benny and Bjorn. We're talking about the movie Brother Bear, if you've seen that movie, Brother Bear. Number 6, this movie has more songs and characters than any other Disney animated film. That's a fun fact. Alice in Wonderland. I did not know that. I was not aware. Alice in Wonderland. More songs and characters than any other Disney film. Animated film. Number 7, to see how the body would move, they studied Tony Hawk on a skateboard. Tarzan was the movie. Tarzan. Number 8, Duke Weaselton is voiced by Alan Tudyk, who also voiced the Duke of Weaselton in Frozen, and the movie we're talking about for Duke Weaselton is Zootopia. Zootopia. Number 9, The Little Mermaid is the first Disney princess to have biological siblings. She's got a bunch of sisters, I think. Number 9. Number 10, the only Walt Disney animated feature film that reaches the 2-hour mark is Fantasia. I've heard that before. That's a good one. And number 11, the first VHS in the Walt Disney Classics line would be Robin Hood. Robin Hood. So those are your answers to today's quiz from Luke Mckay. Luke, thanks so much for writing those questions. You always do such a good job with coming up with some solid ideas and content for the show. If you want to be like Luke, you can send me your questions, ryanbuds@gmail.com, and I will get to those very soon. My friend Ian, a new Patreon subscriber, just sent me some on Pink Floyd, which we'll do later this week. Thank you, Ian. All right, guys, it's time for the question of the day, brought to you by Funky Monkey Designs of San Dimas, California, and here it is. What is the last name of the family in the movie The Incredibles? My daughter's watching the first one in the other room as we speak. So what's the last name of the family in The Incredibles? Tweet me your answer at ryanbuds or email ryanbuds@gmail.com to win a prize. Yesterday's question of the day answer was Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen for Who Do We Call the Boss, who had that nickname. And the trivia team name of the day is When You Wish Upon a Guar, which is a play on Pinocchio, a song, and the band Guar, When You Wish Upon a Guar. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. Thanks for telling a friend, and we'll see you tomorrow for more trivia with Buds. Cheers.